Hello friends, in the last tutorial of our e-commerce UI design, we have developed this cart page. In this tutorial, we will try to make the login and the register page. And further, we will also make our store responsive for the mobile view. So let's start the tutorial. First of all, I'm going to make a login page inside the pages login.jsx. And for the login page, I will use the class-based components of the React. This is basically another approach for our React components. So for this, first of all, I will make a div. This is basically a div for our inputs of username, password, and the login button. So first of all, here I am making a div for input of username, and then I'm just copy and paste this div for the password input, and here I'm saying just password like this. And further we will also have a button like this, and for the button I have the value of login, so it is basically a text inside the button. Okay, let's insert this page in our app.js. Here instead of cart, now I am saying login.jsx. Here we can see we have username, password, and a login button. Now it's time to style this. I am making our page as display flex with justify center. So everything in our page will be at the center of the page. And now for our login inputs div, I am making also it as display flex and flex column. So our all the three inputs here will be in column direction, and further I am making its position absolute, and from top making it is 50%, so it will be in the center of our page like this. But 50% is more than the center of page. Let's make it around 30%. Okay, 30% is looking good. Further, I am making its shadow larger, so it's easy to see the boundary of our div. And border, let's say 2 pixel. Further, border radius rounded large, padding of 5, and width of, let's say, 50% of the total page. We will fix it down later. Okay, so as you can see, our div is now in correct place. It's time to style the username and password input. And before styling the username and password, I would like to increase the width of our this div. I will make it 60%. Okay, better than previous one. Okay, here we are missing one thing in our div, which is the heading of the login div. So to insert that heading, I am making here a text of login like this, and then for this div I am styling it as display flex and margin top of 3, and I'm just copy and pasting it for the password div. So they both inputs will have a top margin from the text and the password from the username. Let's see. And now they are the display flag, so they will be responsive. We will see it on later. Now for the text of login, I am making its text size larger. Let's say text of double XL. Yep, it's looking good now. Now for the input, first of all, I am making its border 2 pixel and rounded large. Let's see the results. As you can see, our username width is smaller than the actual width of the parent div. So to make it correct, I will say its width 100% first of all. Okay, now it is good. And similarly, it will be for the password input. But before going to password, I will complete it here. For text inside this input, I am saying its padding will be 2, and its outline color should be our theme color. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, as soon as I have introduced the padding 2, the height of the input is increased, and in my opinion it's not as bad. We can occupy it for our further work. I will also like to introduce the CSS like on focus. Its border color should be like this, with the transition of is linear and duration of 100. Okay, as you can see now we have a smooth transition which when we change the focus, but I should make it 200 to make it more clear. Okay, now you can see the transition. Let's just copy and paste this class for our password like this. Now you can see our both inputs are styled correctly. And I also like to give the parent div as a border radius medium, or maybe large will be good more. Basically I have already given, but there is a typo, so I am just removing it like this. Okay, now you can see the borders are rounded. Let's move on to our login button. For the login button, first of all, I will just call our class that we have made in index.css. These properties will be applied to our button. Okay, you can see here, but there is a bug. When we hover, it is scaling outside the parent div, so we can fix it. And before fixing, I should give it a margin top of almost 7 like this. Okay, perfect. So it's time to correct its scaling. I'll say on hover, it should scale only 1.1. Let's see. There is again a typo. There should be E like this. Okay. After testing it for many values of scaling, I just found the 1.02 is the perfect value to scale our input button on hovering like this. So it's time to make our login form and our inputs as the controlled inputs. As you know that we are going to make our login form as a controlled form. So when we talk about the controlled form in React, our input elements or the characters inside the input, or we can say that as the value of our inputs are stored inside a variable or an object, or if we see in our functional components, then these values are the part of the use state. So similarly, in the class-based component, the values of username and password should be a state. So for this, here I will write as state. First of all will be username like this, and then the password, or maybe just say password. So here I will say its value will be the state dot this dot state dot username like this. Oh, so this is for the password, so here I should write pass, and similarly for the username, and here I should change the like this. Okay, now as we can see, we have no effects on the result, but as soon as I change its value like ZAINKEEPSCODE, you can see that we have the value inside the username, and we cannot change it right now. It's only a read-only value. So as we know that it's not our expected working or functionality for an input, I am removing it right now. And here I will say on change, let's call a function handle change like this, and I am making this function below the state like this, const handle change, or this should not apply. Okay, as we know that this is a class based component, so above the render method there will be a no const concept. So this is just like this, and receiving an event prop. Okay, this should be like this. Now this handle change should also be applied to the password like this. As you can see, for both changes, I mean for the change in username and for change in password, I have only one function, handle change. So how I will tackle this problem? First of all, I will make a constant field, so it is representing both username and password. And first of all, I will call this JavaScript method object.assign empty object and this dot state. So basically what is this doing? It is just taking an empty object as its input and then copying this dot state value in this object and assigning this to the fields, and then inside fields evt.target.name. I just say evt.target.value. And again, just to remember, the EVT is the event, and event is triggered when we write something inside our input fields. So here I just noticed that we don't have any name of our inputs, because to target the name inside the event, we should have the name of our inputs. So let's say username, okay, and similarly for the password, okay, like this. And now I will call the this dot set state. This is the built-in method in React in class-based component to change the state. So this is the separate operator. Basically what it will do, as we know that fields is like an object, it just separate the fields object and again enclose it inside an object with our updated values or updated object key values. So let's see the results. Okay, there is a mistake, handle change is not defined, handle change, and here it is again. Okay, here I should write this because, and here I should write this because this is a class based component. Okay, now then as you can see, now we can change our states and to better see it inside the console, and here for the components, then for this component like this login, as soon as I write anything inside the username, for example Zan, you can see here Zan is updated, and for the password let's say 123. Okay, interesting, password is not again changing. Let's see what happened here. Okay, this dot state dot pass and pass here. Okay, okay. So the conflict is that we have name as password and our field name as pass inside the state. So if I update this like this and refresh our app, now 123. So you can see that we have same changes reflected inside our state, and here Zen like this. So it is working fine. And to make a check here that the user should always enter a username or password before login, I can make both of these inputs as required. So now our login form is just completed and we can move on to our register form. Inside pages, I am making a page register.jsx and simply copying all of my login page inside the register page. And now let's change first of all starts here. Instead of logging, I am writing here register, and further for the register page our state will not be the same. Here I am including first name and then the last, and also another field named as confirm. We will see the functionality of how to match the pass, means the password field, and the confirm field to always have the same value to make the further register procedure. Basically a check that user have typed its intended password. For its internal functionality, we will do this on the later videos, as these videos are just concerned with the UI design of our e-commerce store. So here, okay, username, first name, last. Now I am making an other div below the text this and just copying one of the like that. And for this div, I am also copying our general div class or the CSS styling like this. And here I am saying this dot state dot first, and here I am writing first name, and for here I am writing first like this. And inside the similar div, I am making another input for the last name. So as these both inputs are going to be in the same div, so they will be in a row direction because their parent div is a display flex. Let's see the results. First of all, I am changing the page from login to register, and let's see. Okay, here we have our 4 input fields: first name, last name with the username and password. So first of all, fix the first name and last name. Here for the second field, I am making its placeholder as last name, name as last, because inside our state objects we have the value as last. Now its value should be this.state.last. And as we know that handle change function is mutual for all of the inputs. So here you can see first name and last name. Let's check them for their use states. So I am opening the terminal, and here for the components I am selecting the login, and let's say writing the first name as Zain. You can see the property Zain is changing correctly, and for the last name as RK, you can see that RK is also updating in our browser. So now we can move on to the username and password field. From our code, you can predict that our username is working fine because we have set up this all in our previous login page. So we can also check its validity in our browser. Let's say username, this email, and here it is also updating. So we don't need any change in the username field. So let's move on to the password and confirm password field. Here you can see that we have to make another field for the confirm. So I am just copy and pasting my password field. Let's format this like this, and for its placeholder I am saying confirm. Its name will be also confirm, this.state.confirm, and handle change function is mutual. So let's see. Okay, let's remove this first. You can see here we have our confirm field. We should also check it first. Let's say okay. Now in the login component, we are updating our confirm and password field successfully. So its functionality is not completed yet. We will make its functionality like the real scenario of confirming the matching of password and confirm in the later videos, but for now we are making its UI design. So it's enough for this video. Now we have to separate the first name and last name similarly for the password and confirm. So here I am adding some margin left for the last name, like here margin left of 3 will be okay for both. So I am just adding this property to confirm at the last of its utility classes. Let's see. Okay, now we have a distance between both fields. So we can notice we also have to change the button from login to register, and its appearance is well. To change its value, here I will say instead of login, make it as register like this. So our register form is now completed. Let's move on to the next part of the video, which is to make our whole store responsive. First of all, I am closing all the tabs in my VS Code, and then to make my whole UI design responsive, first of all, let's visit Tailwindcss and see some documentation. I am writing Tailwindcss for smaller breakpoints. Here you can see Tailwindcss already have some defined utility classes like small, medium, and we can see the defined width. As we can see, small has the minimum width of 640 pixels and medium has 678 pixels and so on. But the problem is that we have to make it responsive for the mobile view, and the width of mobile is even smaller than 640 pixels. So how can we overcome this problem? To overcome this problem, let's scroll down and visit customizing breakpoints documentation. Here they are describing the whole method. I am not going in detail. You can read it yourself. I am just showing the exact method. Just copy this screens object, okay, like this. Copy this, and in your VS Code inside tailwind.config.js, in the theme object, just paste it like this. Okay, unexpected identifier. It is giving error because here we have to add a comma, and now save. Okay, now for the mobile view, here I am making my own custom class like this, and for this I am saying the maximum width of 420 pixels. Now this is the only work we have to do for our custom classes of media query. Now we can use this query mobile in our app. So first of all, go to the home page. Inside the app.js, I am writing home. Save this and see the result. Okay, first of all, I am going to make it responsive. Here I am selecting iPhone 12 Pro, a standard size, and making it 75%. Here you can see there is a lot of stuff that is not arranged for the mobile view. So let's start with the navbar. Inside the components, I am opening navbar.jsx, and first of all, as you can see, first of all, we have to solve this navbar problem, and also to small the width of this left div which contains register, sign in and our cart icon. So move to the VS Code. First of all, for the parent div, let's open the word wrap. For the parent div on mobile view, I am making its padding from left 0, and also for the mobile view, its padding from right also 0. Let's see. Now you can see it has no padding from left and right. Okay. The further I can do to hidden this English, I don't think that the language is necessary for the mobile view. So for mobile, let's make it hidden. Here you can see now we don't have the language icon. So the next task is to small its width. Here we have our search input, and for the mobile view, I am making its width 50 pixels. You can see now it is smaller than the previous. It's time to fix our main logo. Okay, here we have the logo div. I am saying for mobile, let's make it margin left only 6. For its text, I am saying on the mobile view, let's make it text small. Okay, but still we have to fix the card as it is overflowing from our navbar. Here is the right div. Sorry, before I have declared it as a left div, but it's actually a right div. The one technique is to solve this problem. I am saying on mobile view, make its flex as 2. Okay, let's see. You can see now our right div is occupying space more than any other div like the left or center div, but still our problem is not solved. To solve this, I say on mobile view, instead of its justify end that we have declared for the desktop view, I am making its justify center. Okay, let's try it for the justify start. Okay, here the problem is that where we are defining the style for the register, sign in and the cart icon above the code, we are declaring a margin left of 25 pixel. Let's make it for the mobile view as margin left of 0. Let's see now. Okay, let's make it display flex at the end, or center may be good like this. Okay, but still we need some margin between these contents of our right div. So instead of writing margin left of 0, I will make it margin left of 5 pixel as it is a smaller screen. Okay, let's make it more larger. I will say 15 pixels. Now, okay, it's now just looking fine. And we can also try that if I write the flex for the right div as 1.5, okay, and then lower its margin. Okay, still there is a little overflow, so make it just 10. Yes, now it is perfect as our logo is looking good, and also all the contents in the right div and the left div Also, we don't need this slider for the mobile view. So for this slider here and then here and then here, I will say on mobile, make it hidden. So now we don't have any slider, and you can see the categories are the display flag, so they are aligned itself without doing anything, and categories are also aligned in vertical. The only problem in our home page is the newsletter and its input, and also there is a problem with the footer. So let's first fix the newsletter. Okay, it's difficult to predict what we should change without seeing the results. So as we can see that here the first problem is with our text here, which is the description of our newsletter. So to fix this, here I am saying on mobile, let's make its padding 3 from both sides, and also on mobile let's make text at the center of parent div. Okay, as you can see now it's looking much more aligned than previous. So let's fix this input. For the parent div of this input, I am saying on mobile, let's make its minimum width 20 rem or maybe 30 rem for the mobile. The 30 rem is already defined for the desktop view. So to make it smaller, here we should write 20 rem. And now our input is inside the newsletter div. So it is good for the mobile view. Let's fix our last component of the home page, which is the footer. So first of all, for its parent div, I am saying on the mobile view, align all the items in the column direction. Let's see. Okay, I should get to the right side like this. Okay, and also the state. Okay, let's make the screen bigger. So now we can see it clearly. The last div is not looking good for the mobile view as it is at the center of our screen. So let's make it at the start of our screen here. So here I'm saying on mobile view, make items at the start of the flexbox. So here we should include the S. Now you can see our home page is perfectly aligned for the mobile view, and now we can move on to the next page, which is the categories one. So for the categories page, first of all, as similar to the previous one, for the mobile view, I am making its flex direction column, and inside the category component, as we can see that there is nothing to change, and I am hoping everything should work fine just by changing inside the categories one. Let's see by changing our app.js, and here I am saying category page. Okay. So the category page is working fine for the category component, and of course for the page we should have to change these filters alignment. Let's move to this page. Here first of all, for this flex box, I am saying on mobile view, make its flex direction column. Okay, let's see. Yes, everything is aligned automatically as soon as I have changed its flex direction, and also I should add some extra margin between size and color for the mobile view. So here for the color, I am saying on mobile view, make the margin top of 3. You can see how easy it is with the Tailwindcss to change the responsive views between desktop and the mobile. Let's move to the product page, and to see the product page, instead of category, here I am writing product page. Okay, so first of all fix this one, and also just change the flex direction. So here product page, for the parent div on the mobile view, make flex column. Okay, many things are now fixed, but of course we have to do some work. First of all, let's add some margin top of 3, and let's also add some padding. Okay, now you can see the product page is looking fine, but one thing more that we would want, that this title of the product should be appeared in the center of the page. To make this happen, here is the title of our product, and I am saying on mobile view, let's make items center, and we should not apply it here as this is not the parent div. We should apply it here like this. Okay, still we are not noticing any title in the center of the page because the text of our title is too much large to be appeared in the center of the page. So let's small the text size. I am saying on mobile, make text only 30 pixels will be okay. Now you can see our title is just in the center of the page. It's time to fix the description of the product. Here is the description. This misalignment is because of the right padding that we have made here. So on mobile view, I'll say make its padding right 0. Now it's looking good. Rest of the page is just according to the expectations. So it's time to move on the next page, which is our cart page. Let's add the cart page in app.js like this. Okay, so there is a lot of stuff to change. First of all, I will make this div as a flex column, so the summary will appear just below our products list. Here in the cart page, for this div, I am making on mobile, make its flex as column. Now our summary is below the products, and I will also change this div as a flex column because it's not looking as good as we expected. So for this upper div on mobile view, I am making its flex column like this. Okay, now it's looking good. It's time to correct our products list. As we know that this is the part of central div. Here I am making on mobile view flex direction column, so counter will appear below the product description. Okay, and as we have made our both products independently, because this page is not totally dynamic because of just the description of UI design, so I should also include this. Let's trace the closing div and go to matching pair here, and this should be added here like this. The only thing have to change, we should add some margin top for the quantity, and this is our counter div. For the mobile view, add margin top of 3. Okay, margin top of 3 is just enough. Copy and paste it for the second product, and here is the counter, and just paste it like this. Okay, and we should also add some margin for this details of our cart. So these details are inside this div, and I'm saying on mobile add margin top of 3, and also on mobile add margin bottom of 3. Let's see. Okay, now our whole cart page is looking good. It's time to fix our login and sign up page. So let's close these all tabs. Inside app.js, I am importing the login page like this. And first of all, see the result for the mobile view. And as you can see that the login page is looking good because we have made this in Flexbox. So these are not too much need to change it, but we can change the width of this login div. So it will be more appeared for the mobile users. Here for the login page and the parent div, I am saying on mobile view, make its width the 90% of the total mobile width. So now it is looking perfect for the mobile view. Let's move on to the register page. So here this is the register one. As you can see that there also we don't need any too much change. We will just simply increase the width of the register div. Here on the mobile view, the width is 90%. So we have successfully completed our e-commerce UI design, and you can access its source code in the description. I will provide the whole source code via the GitHub link. Thanks for watching this tutorial. In the next part of this e-commerce store, we will make this design a dynamic. We will implement the backend Node.js and our Express server to this store, and we will make it as a real-time e-commerce store application. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Also share this video. Thank you.